Welcome back. This video is on simplicity. So the yoga value of simplicity. I especially love this value. So in our modern world, it's easy to get caught up in the rush of life and feel like we're always trying to get from A to B, and living in this way constantly can become quite unhealthy for us, and we can start to live in a state of stress, which can have, long-term effects on our health and well-being. So it's important to start to embrace this concept of simplicity, and it's even more than a concept. It's something we can live and feel and make little changes in our life. So the first point I would like to make about simplicity is that it's important to learn how to simplify our life. So it can be a step-by-step thing. It doesn't have to be like all of a sudden you're going to go and, live in a cave or a van if you're like me. But I highly recommend taking some time out. I know it's hard in this busy world, but just taking a pause where you can. So learning to simplify our life actually means taking on a new mindset, a new way of thinking. So what does this mean? It means we prioritize what matters to us. You know how you sometimes feel like you're just doing a whole lot of things that just don't add up to you feeling great. You're just pulled in so many different directions, and you never really feel like you're getting anywhere or feeling fulfilled. And this yoga value helps us realize that actually life is more fulfilling when we can live simply. So, the first place to start is simplifying our thoughts. Because when we sort out our internal world, our external world often takes care of itself. It's a really good place to start inwardly. So when we're always rushing from A to B and our home is cluttered, we can feel cluttered in our minds. So yoga helps us by letting go. It helps us let go of what we no longer need. So we can, after a yoga class or taking time out for yourself where you might close your eyes and lie on your back, take a few breaths, and you start to notice you can just really be in this present moment. That pause and practicing being mindful really helps us to gain perspective and clarity on what's really important and what matters to us in our life. The second point I want to make is not overcommitting. So a great way to embrace simplifying our life is by not overcommitting to different social functions and all these family events. We feel like we have this duty to attend and different meetings, and next thing the whole day's gone and we feel like we haven't put our own priorities first. So not overcommitting actually takes a bit of courage and making boundaries. This can be tricky. It's something I am still, taking on and learning, and because sometimes when we make boundaries and say I'm sorry, especially to someone in our own family, like a family event, what about if someone in your family has a wedding and it's getting in the way of something that is really important to you? There's kind of like this societal pressure, right, to do what's right for the family, but maybe there is a way that you can make some boundaries and say, hold on, I'll do this, but I won't do this. And I don't know about you, but for me, I find it's uncomfortable at the start. You have to upset someone else to put your own priorities first. And maybe it's just like, a Sunday afternoon lunch that you've always done, and you have to say to someone in your family or someone you're close to, I'm really sorry, but I've got these other commitments today, and I'm going to have to say no. And yes, it's uncomfortable to start with, but what I find over time is that people actually start to respect you. And so it's kind of worth getting through that tough patch. So change can be hard. This is what personal growth is. This is what living the yoga life is. Some people want to change, but they don't want to change. They like the idea of living differently, but making these tough decisions can be hard. So that's not overcommitting, really reprioritizing what's really important. And, perhaps you can take a quiet afternoon for yourself, and that's replenishing. So really being bold with how you're spending your time. The third point is simplify our social life and the way we cook, and simplify our home and surroundings and getting out of nature. So I'm just mentioning some other ways we can simplify. So our social life, the way we cook and eat, our home and surroundings, and even getting out in nature. So there's many, many more, but these are a few that we can sort of start to dabble in. So getting away from our computer screen is like just so good for us. When you've been like this all day and just staring at the screen, and you feel so much better after you've been for a walk. It's really good for our physical well-being, it's good for boosting our immune system, and there's lots of science now around how walking in nature is really, really good for us. It actually can change our state of health. So the second point I wanted to make was about our home and surroundings. So if you're feeling like there's things in your home that kind of you don't really need, it's good to have a sort out, of course, a decluttering. This is becoming quite popular on a few TV shows and things now. But the way I like to think about this is valuing experiences over belongings. So for me, when I went and lived in my van for a while, because I really wanted some time out, it was pretty hard letting go of things like my nice boots that I knew that were expensive, but I was like, when am I going to wear them? I noticed I haven't worn them in ages, and I had to let go of a lot of things that were quite hard to let go of initially, but I knew that was just difficult at that point, and what that meant was more freedom to travel and have experiences. So when you sort of think of it like that, a mindset of valuing experiences over things, you really get to really explore and live your life in a pretty liberating way. If you've ever traveled with just a small bag, you kind of might have felt that feeling. It's like, oh, this is actually all I really need in this moment. Because we can't take any of our things with us when we die. So for me, a really good lesson I got from, when my mum passed away, I had, in a couple of years actually, my auntie passed away, and then my mum passed away, and seeing, people who are so close to you die actually made me realize, wow, we can't take any of our things with us. What really matters is how we live and what experiences we have. So, stripping away the clutter and simplifying our life makes us feel more free, and it's also good for our mind. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. The 3 points on simplicity that I've covered are: learning to simplify our life means taking on a new mindset. It means, number 2, not overcommitting to things, which takes courage in making boundaries. And number 3, we can simplify our social life, the way we cook, and our home and surroundings, and getting out in nature. So I just didn't mention about cooking. There's just so much juicy stuff in this topic of simplicity, but can we cook simply with just 3 meals? And if you read some of my van life blogs, you'll see some nice examples. Alright, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for listening.